Okay, guys, we are back, and we're here to talk about EA and Ubisoft. And we have
Yes,
quite a
sir.
few things to say about those.
Maybe.
We will see how this goes, guys. Let me get my notes here pulled up.
Yay! Oh,
You're not already there,
Okay.
man. Come on,
I
dude.
know, man. I'm getting there. Okay, here we go.
Ah, jeez.
Okay, guys. EA started with a great trailer. Well, kind of.
Oh.
They started off with Mass Effect Andromeda, and that's going to be coming out holiday 2016, or as Josh
Awesome.
likes to say, 2017.
Yeah. Asterisks.
So we'll see about
End of
that.
2017.
I mean, it looked awesome. It didn't really show a lot, though. I mean, it just kind of showed you, zooming through the planets and looking through your map and things like that.
it said explore a new galaxy.
Yeah.
Now, is there any sort of adventure to an actual new galaxy, or is it after Mass Effect the trilogy? Is it before? I'm
To
wondering
my
what's
understanding,
going on.
from the script, wherever that leaked, they said that it's going to be about you trying to, establish like a new planet. And so you're going around meeting with all these other galaxies and other
Yeah.
planets, things like that. You're trying to colonize something.
Hopefully,
But I'm trying to figure out the timeline. Is
Sure,
it?
it's after Mass Effect 4.
It is
hopefully,
after Mass
you
Effect
know
Four,
how
after
you
3,
explore the
Okay.
galaxy and you close in on the planets, but you never go on them. Hopefully, it has more of the you just go to the planet, then you
Sure.
can land on it.
Yeah.
Well, that was what Mass Effect.
I mean,
1
Mass Effect
was.
1 did
Yeah.
that, but I'm
Yeah.
hoping it's more in depth.
Well, yeah,
than
Sure.
that.
That was a 2007 game. It was really.
Oh yeah, that was ambitious for the time.
Yeah. So we didn't really get a lot, but with it coming out next year's E3 is when we're probably really going to hear about this
Yeah.
game. They'll show more gameplay. I mean, this kind of gave us a little taste of it to say, hey, we're still working on it. I guess it's better than the talking head trailer they did a few, was it last year or the year before last? Or just showed the artist, talking we're making this game. And, they weren't, showing
We don't
anything.
know what it is yet, but here's
So-
these
Yeah.
environments.
Right. So, I mean,
Here's me writing on some paper.
this is actually a lot better. So
Yeah.
after that, they, every single company has a racing game. So they showed off Need for Speed.
Yeah.
And, it's to say they're going back to the core of Need for Speed. It's like the underground racing themes they had before.
No, they had a core.
Yeah, I mean, underground or Need for Speed started as an underground racing theme. That's how it was. They
Okay.
they're going
Oh
back
yeah,
to
but
that.
it was very linear, and you just race the set pathways.
Well,
Because I
sure,
remember that.
but I mean, that was sort of like the the
PlayStation
story.
1, that was way back then.
But they said this one's going to be set in Ventura Bay. Is where you're going to be racing
Ace
around.
Ventura,
Right. But and they said it's going to be using the Frostbite engine. So
It looked pretty.
yeah, and and they said that the whole thing is going to be about customizing your car, and you can play with your crew with your friends online, and of course they've got another outlaw mode where you're chasing from the cops. Everything they show is pre-alpha footage, but it looked really good. I
Yeah.
mean, graphically.
graphically.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not a big racer guy. The only kind of racing I like is Mario Kart, but then I do like the arcadey racers type games, and this one looked more like an arcadey racer, more like a
Yeah.
Burnout than a Forza.
Right.
So
Yeah.
this game actually piqued my interest a little bit.
It looked the nicest
yeah, I'm
out
not
of all
really
the
into the whole
racers.
underground,
Yeah.
drag racing, that kind of scene. But the
Cops
gameplay,
chasing you.
the gameplay looked pretty tight.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, after that, they got into something Matt was going to get excited for,
Yeah.
but he thought it was going to be what? Star Wars.
Knights of the
Yeah.
Republic 3, and it just turned out they came out and they're like, we heard the fans.
Yes.
And so we said, we're just going to go back to what the fans want with an expansion of the Old Republic, but you play it like it was the old Knights of the
How
Republic
many people
games.
play that?
Now,
Really?
sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, I honestly, I did play the Old Republic. I got till about level 30, and I did, as a trooper, I didn't do a Jedi or anything. It was entertaining for an MMO. It was actually a more accessible MMO than a lot of others. I would say that. It wasn't like World of Warcraft or anything. If you're not used to MMOs at all, it wasn't that bad to get into. It felt a lot like the Mass Effect or Star Wars Knights of the Republic series. But it was just too much and too long, and after a while, the story kind of just falls apart for each character.
Okay,
There's just
yeah.
not a lot there. It's too extended of a story for you to actually get into it, and story is what drives those games.
Sure.
Yep.
And so, I mean, I guess this expansion would be cool if basically it seemed like they're trying to make a Knights of the Old Republic game, but just make it as an expansion because they said it's huge.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean that might be interesting, but I don't want to get an MMO for that. I wanted an actual Knights of
Sure.
the Old Republic.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's called Knights of the Fallen Empire, and it's coming out in October 27th. And they said it's heavily story based. Like you said, it kind of showed these two twins. One was in white and one was in black. So
It's
you kinda
interesting.
see
But
what-
like
there
maybe
are
maybe it wasn't
predetermined what
twins,
side
but it's
they're on.
like you could choose which
Sure.
one you wanted
Yeah,
to
that's
be.
what I got from it.
But one thing they said is that it's going to be free. So if you're a subscriber of Knights of the Old Republic already, you're going to get this.
Like,
so in
that's
October, it's absolutely free. So that's pretty cool.
That's
Yep.
cool. And it actually did make me reconsider going back because I bought the game originally and I just had it installed and never played it since. I might go back and try it out and just see.
But
I doubt that.
Yeah.
but here's one thing that EA is very bad at.
Oh, yeah.
They like to put these big lulls in the like this horrible downtime in the middle of their conference. Like their timing is just very bad. Because what they did next, they showed off a brand new IP called Unravel, and it kind of looked almost like Yoshi's Woolly World. You're made out of yarn, and if
A
you're
Little
made out
Big
of
Planet.
if you're made out of yarn, what's the best name you could pick? Oh, I know. Yarny. And
Like Barney.
and I mean, what they showed off, like the actual gameplay looked like a lot of fun. I'll probably it interested me enough. I might pick
Yeah.
it up. But just they had the creator of the game come out and he talked and he talked and he talked
talked.
about, oh, I was on this
It's just-
camping trip. Oh, I came with this idea. And like he just went on and on.
And I
and
made
on.
this little puppet.
Yeah, they made this little puppet out of yarn, and I got the idea from that. But when they showed
It's
the
like,
actual
come
trailer, I'm like, this actually looks really cool.
Yeah, the trailer.
If they would have just done the trailer and
Yeah.
then had a couple words, it would have been fine.
Oh, that
but
would have
oh
been
my gosh,
perfect.
they just
I did appreciate, though, basically, I don't know if this is 100% right, but Ubisoft made it sound like, or sorry, EA made it sound like they weren't the ones who actually made this. It was like almost like an indie guy or somebody themselves doing it, and they were like, we thought this is great, we picked it up. I did like
Sure.
that idea, but you're right, that
It's
it was
just too long.
Exactly.
too long.
And then after that, they showed us the game we already saw at Microsoft. They showed us Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. They actually showed off a lot more this
They
time.
showed gameplay.
Yeah,
Right.
last time they just showed like a brief kind of funny trailer. This time they showed actual gameplay.
Classes for
they
the
they showed off a
zombies.
brand new map called Zomboss Factory. And in this one, you are playing as the zombies who are getting invaded by the plants instead. And what they did, they showed off a lot of new classes. They showed off the Imp class, which is like a little small zombie, and he's like small and he's super fast. He had a jetpack so he could fly around.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is cool.
But one thing he did, he could actually call down like a giant mech, and he got inside it, so he was a lot bigger and like stronger. So that was pretty cool. They showed off another class called Super Brains. He looked like a superhero. He's the new melee class. So that's something new. They showed off Captain Deadbeard. He was like a pirate, and he's
Sniper
the new
pirate,
sniper
yep.
class. And then they also showed off a brand new single player mode. So you can play through the game single player and have everybody just AI. I mean, I don't know if I'd really be into that because to
Yeah.
me the core of that game is online. And they did say though it will have a split screen mode, but you only play against AI. You can't go
Right.
split screen online, which is kind of disappointing. But I mean, at least they're giving something, something else. Because I mean, it's strictly an online game, so they're trying to give something for people that don't go online. But I feel like if you can't go online, there's probably not a game worth picking up.
But then again, I mean, if you look in the case of like Splatoon or other games, people complain when there is no single player because there's a lot of people out there who like just don't feel comfortable getting in with a bunch of people, and
Sure.
so having that option is still a nice addition.
I mean, they could always just pull a Splatoon and just pull a voice chat out.
Yeah.
It
But,
added a lot. I mean, it was a surprise hit for them last year. So
that game is a blast, dude.
Yeah,
First
and
Plants
it's
vs. Zombies is awesome.
with kids, it's really good.
Oh yeah.
So
And one cool thing they said, if you play the first Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare, all the characters and stuff you unlock is going to carry
yeah.
over.
Which is
so
cool.
that's really nice. And they said they're going to do free content updates. They didn't say how long, but they said for months after release.
Yeah,
they're
for
gonna
a
be giving you
while.
free content. So that's actually really awesome. But it does make me wonder if it's going to be kind of like what Splatoon is doing, where it's not the full game, like giving you like a partial game, then adding maps and adding weapons and adding maps.
I,
Kind of like
I
what
see
they're
it
doing.
similar to that.
So I don't know.
I
We'll
wouldn't.
see.
I wouldn't say Splatoon gave you a partial game, but they gave you a smaller game.
A smaller
in
package,
that,
sure,
yeah.
sure. So I mean, who knows?
Yep.
After that, EA jumped into their sports segment, and they really didn't like say too much about. I mean, they just kind of gave you a quick clip of NHL 2016. They gave you a quick clip
everything they
of
were
Royal
doing.
McIlroy Golf. They gave you a
Royal
quick,
McIlroy.
quick clip.
That doesn't roll off the tongue.
EA
now.
Sports Ultimate. They showed Madden. They showed NBA Live. Now I know Matt, you said you were really impressed by NBA Live 2016.
More just like none of us here are really major sports games players, but like I used to play basketball games, and NBA Live was a series I did play. I haven't played it for a few years, so I'm not 100% up on what NBA 2K is doing, but like when I looked at it, they said they spent 2 years developing like an off-the-ball physics engine where the players actually move well off the ball. And watching those animations looked pretty good. Like, it actually, and it didn't seem to be just like a total cinematic trailer. Like, it looked kind of like just different camera angles on actual gameplay.
Sure.
And the way that players worked on each other felt like watching an NBA game, more so than previous games. Usually, they were like robots who would sit there and they would kind of bump into.
It had a
There
good
was a little bit
flow
of,
to it.
Yeah, they had a nice flow with a bunch
The
of different
screens, you
animations.
could tell that the physics that they'd actually wind up and move in the way they should. And the scan feature was pretty neat, but their faces did not look very good.
Did they say you could scan your own face into the game?
Yeah,
through an
they
app?
did it.
Like you get an app on your phone or something like that?
Yeah, you just they brought the guy up on stage and they took a picture and he went like that, and then it brought it, and it was quick.
Yeah.
It wasn't amazing. It worked well enough for an app. The graphics were not great, but the gameplay looked, if you like basketball games, it looked interesting. I know people are going to be biased if you're an NBA 2K fan, but you know, for somebody who just is interested in a basketball game, looks like it might
fun arcade
twist on it.
style basketball.
And so, you know, what is more thrilling than doing a whole sports montage? Oh, I know. Let's talk about mobile games. So after this, EA jumped into their mobile games. Said, look, we're supporting Apple Watch, and you can play, I forget what all games they had on there. But like, you know, they're showing all these mobile phone games you can play. They showed a new Star Wars game coming out called Star Wars Galaxies of Heroes. This is going to have characters from the prequels, the original trilogy, and Clone Wars. And then they went off into this whole like long segment about Minions Paradise,
right,
which is
and
based on the Despicable Me characters.
Great movie, terrible.
Yeah, great movie.
Like,
I'm not.
not that it's a terrible game or anything, but just does not draw interest in me at all.
And
a conference like this,
And then after that, they went back to sports. So they already left sports once, and this time they brought out Pele. You know who they, you know,
the legendary
the greatest football player of all
football.
time. And they just kind of interviewed him and had him talk about his memories, and they showed, you know,
Story
sports
time
clips
with
of him.
Pele.
Yeah, and so it like Matt's a history teacher guy, so he loves history. He said this is interesting, but even he agreed it
not
doesn't
the right
fit in a
place.
video game conference.
Yeah, there for like 5 minutes, I didn't feel like I was watching a video game conference. I was like, this is cool. I'm like, I teach a sports history class. I'm like, this is interesting to follow a little bit. But I was like, wait, this is a game conference.
Yeah.
Where are the games? Like,
and they went on and on and on. Like
It
that
was
segment
long.
just felt really long. I mean, he seemed like a nice guy, and he did all those great things with soccer and all this
it
stuff.
was
But
neat
it's just
learning
like
his personal story and his views and everything, like to get in touch with a person, but had nothing to do with games.
exactly. So I don't even. I mean,
it
it
did,
was just
but
odd.
not
It was
really.
an odd choice.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, did they talk anything about? Because I don't even remember. Did they talk anything about adding him to like a new sports game coming out or anything like that? Or they just sort of interviewed him and say, hey, he's this great. Because I can't even remember. I can't. That sounds terrible. I almost zoned out on
we
that
lost.
Well, we were
interest.
back in snacks and
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, one of us used the restroom. I don't know, man.
I was kind of like on my phone. I think like I lost interest and then came back after that point. I think I remember him mentioning something about like this. The game will involve building a legend or something like that. So I don't know how it works. And that made me think of like a cool idea for future games if they haven't done it, like Madden and all that. It'd be cool. They always have franchise mode, but you start it this year and go in the future. It'd be cool if they waited a couple years for a game and then said, here's our game, but guess what? You can download any roster from the past 60 years and then start a franchise at any year. And then they brought in actual draft picks each year. That would be a cool way
Well,
to
for
do
Madden,
a
they had like a
franchise.
fantasy football. Like you could choose your team that way. Players like Jerry Rice was in like a Cowboys uniform.
Yeah.
Like you're choosing, you choose your like an actual
Yeah,
draft.
they
like
did have
you
that in
choose,
Madden,
your players, which I thought that was
Yeah.
interesting.
But I mean, like, it would be so cool if like I could have a Madden game and then go back to 1989 and be, I don't know, the Kansas City Chiefs, and then you have the draft and Emmitt Smith is in the draft, and then you get to 1990.
that
Two or
that
something like
prospect's pretty
that.
awesome.
That would be sweet if they could do something like that. But
Sure.
that just it's so sad.
Change history as we
It's
Yes.
it's so sad though that I was more interested in an idea I came up with from that whole spiel than the actual game.
yeah.
Like,
But at least they ended on a higher note because the two last games they talked about, one that I've been hyped about for a long time. They showed off gameplay and a story trailer for Mirror's Edge Catalyst, and that's actually coming out in February 23rd. So that's coming out at the beginning of the year. I mean, as of right now, things always get delayed, of course, but
Right.
as of right now, I am super hyped for that game. I love the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, the game was short, but then you had like the time trial modes, which are crazy insane. Go online and look up like time trials on YouTube of the first Mirror's Edge. It'll blow your mind. But I'm super hyped about that. I mean, it looks super pretty because it's using the Frostbite engine. Pretty much everything EA is doing is using that new Frostbite engine, and it looks super slick. It looks really nice.
It does look good, and I like how it's open world this time around. Like that's why I couldn't get into the first Mirror's Edge because it was just corridor. Well, it was open, but it was corridor like. And this one, it's fully realized.
Exactly, and they did say that they're going to have like no load times. It's just all open, which is actually pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
That's pretty. Awesome.
I never played the first one, but with backwards compatibility, if that's one of the games for 360, I'll go back and get it and then try it
and
out.
that's one thing they did announce: 21 games of backwards compatibility. Go online, check that out, and that's only for preview members on the 360. But what they ended on, I know you guys were pretty much up and cheering for it.
Yeah, that was
Star
a
Wars
good
Battlefront.
ending.
I mean, they showed a lot of gameplay for that. I mean, it's all pre-alpha footage.
That looked incredible.
Yeah, it was, I mean, they switched between you're in the ships, they switched between people on the ground. The way they took down the walkers, the
third person,
weapons
first
you had,
person,
you
could fly in the TIE fighters. You could
so
ride the AT-AT. I mean,
it was huge and expansive.
Particle effects. I mean, it had it all.
And then even to the
it was
end
good.
With the Luke versus Vader, which is basically what they did in Battlefront 2. Like I'm assuming it's like you kill so many enemies, you can all of a sudden become Luke for a little bit or whatever. I'm assuming that's how it'll work the same way as Battlefront 2. But looks amazing.
Like I didn't have any interest in this game really because it's online, but now watching that, it's like, man, this. I gotta keep this on my radar.
Absolutely. I mean, that looks super exciting. So I mean, that should be pretty cool. So at least they ended on a high note.
Right. I wish they would have announced the other Star Wars game, though. The one with Amy Hennig.
The one from the Uncharted.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Hopefully
they should have said something about it.
Hopefully she's not the one behind that stupid mobile game.
Oh, jeez.
No, she's working on Uncharted. I highly doubt she would have mobile. But sorry, good.
I was gonna say, I'm excited for that, and I think they'll announce it next year at E3, or like maybe Gamescom, or maybe this December or something like that. Like I think
it's in development. It's just when it's gonna come
I'm highly disappointed. You guys know my predictions and everything, and my big off the wall one was Knights of the Old Republic 3, and I get an expansion for Old Republic.
But that was a long shot, man.
At least Battlefield or Battlefront. Sorry, that's supposed to be out when the new movie releases. So that should be out sometime this year, like by the end of the year. So that's a big deal.
It's making a nice catalog.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, real quick before we get into Ubisoft, how would you guys rate EA? Because honestly, for me, it was just such a lull in the middle, and they had so many just dead spots in that conference. I'd say, I mean, they showed a lot of good stuff though. They showed Battlefront, they showed Mirror's Edge, and they opened with Mass Effect. They had even the Yarn game Unraveled. I actually thought it looked pretty cool, but because of all those mistakes in there, it felt like 3 times longer than the conference actually was. I think so. For me, I'd say like maybe a D+. Honestly, I mean, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm right with you there, man.
That's honestly probably going to be the worst one we'll see.
Yeah, a D+ for me too. I mean,
I know. We haven't seen Square Enix
they
yet.
didn't cater to the gaming crowd.
Sure.
They spent too much time on other things, and that's what happens when you don't do that. I mean, it falls apart.
I'm going to be the optimist here and say give a little better score. I think I'm trying to view these conferences not in the scope of what the show made us feel like, but what I got from the show that I could play in the future. Xboxes, it was game after game after game, but there wasn't any wow moments, but I'm still like, there's a lot I can play in the future. With this one, there's more than I thought. Afterwards, I was because they would spend like 2 minutes on a Mass Effect trailer and then like 10 minutes on a stupid, yarn discussion before we actually see the game. Yeah. That was the problem with the conference, like horrible conference.
Yeah.
But the games I'm pulling from it, I give it a C+ range. Like, I'm interested in the Yarn game, and obviously Battlefront's going to be amazing. Mirror's Edge is going to be awesome. Mass Effect, when it comes out, and we learn more about it's going to be great. Not a whole lot else I was interested in, but, like, still.
There was no real thrills, though. They didn't, they should have unveiled something there.
Yeah.
There was nothing that, you knew Mass Effect was going to be there in Battlefront. They would have had something.
Was really the only.
Yeah, but
I mean,
that's not something you.
I really feel like most
spring yarn out.
Yeah, I feel like most conferences though anymore are going to be that way. Like Xboxes had some great stuff, but it was all games we knew about.
Sure.
There's not a lot of wow moments. The only company that can do it is Sony tonight when they because nobody knows what their
the
first-party
wild card,
studios have been
man.
doing. So, like, if they come out and say, well, this is what we've been working on, even if it's just CGI trailers, you know people are going to go nuts.
Sure.
And
But it could be like the tortoise and the hare, man, where Xbox is slowly, steadily gaining people, and Sony's
They
so
start
far
out
ahead. They're
so
like,
fast.
we can rest for a little bit because they even
they
said
can't
themselves.
now.
They even said themselves that they have no major games coming out in 2015. Although next year they've got more coming.
Yeah,
but I'm
they're
just
gonna have
thinking,
a
are
ton
they
next
just in
year.
that like relaxing mode because they're so far in the lead?
But,
what are they going to bring this year? Are they going to spend like 90% of the time talking about Morpheus?
well, no, they're
That's
going
the
to.
make or break point.
They're going to reveal a
Yeah.
lot. They're going to reveal maybe Santa Monica's game and like all these different companies' games, but none of them will come out this year. They're all next year. So next year's a good year to be a PlayStation owner. This year, unless they surprise us with a few, it doesn't look like there's a lot yet.
Sure.
But
Okay, guys, real quick, let's hop into Ubisoft. Now, Ubisoft, I think, had a much better
Oh, yeah.
conference. I mean, I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. They showed off a lot of new stuff. They
Kept it
opened
coming.
with something that nobody saw coming. Matt, you're the biggest South Park fan I know. And so when they came out
The
and they
smile
started
on your face,
right,
man.
and they started showing South Park, and we thought it was an expansion. We thought for sure, this is just an
it's
expansion,
a
a Stick of
DLC.
Truth. Or actually, what I thought was maybe they're remastering the game, putting it on Xbox One, like a definitive edition or something. And they come out, and Cartman's like, hey, we're in the wrong game. And all of a sudden, they change into their superhero costumes.
and it's like an all new adventure.
Yeah, and it was an all-new adventure, and it looked absolutely hilarious. It's actually called South Park Fractured But Whole.
Just hear that, you just laugh every time. It's awesome.
And the name is hilarious. And, we were all sort of talking during the
awesome.
show. And we thought, well, it's probably going to be similar to Stick of Truth.
Yeah.
Because
I see being the exact same.
it's probably going to be, turn-based RPG like the other one, which was fine because that game played fantastic. It was really funny.
I mean, if Trey Parker, Matt Stone are willing to every other year use the same engine and make a new episode, I would love it. Like,
Sure.
I wouldn't care if
And
it's
you'd
superheroes.
want it annualized.
I would. Like, I'm with this game every year.
Right.
Like, that game had some really messed up moments. Stick of Truth is what I'm referring to. It had some really messed up moments, but it was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was more expansive than you expected out of a game like a South Park game. And it was super fun. It was shortish for an RPG, but not like too short that you like didn't, as long as you went out and did the side missions. I feel like this is gonna be the exact same, but I don't care. Like, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna pre-order it. Like,
Dude,
it's gonna be great.
The name alone.
The
Not
name
the
alone.
name, just you know what's coming with the name.
That's
But
so clever.
I mean, it's just so funny because now you're superheroes. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I do wonder what your superhero name is gonna be, like your power. I don't know.
Butthole.
I don't know.
There's a lot of questions
Well,
still to come out about
Remember
this.
Trey Parker came out? I don't know if they were joking, but they were like, it's going to be all about your butthole.
right.
Butthole.
Yeah, fractured but whole. Okay, guys.
That's so
after that hilarious start, they showed off a brand new IP. It's called For Honor. That kind of looked almost like a
Intriguing.
Dynasty Warriors player
Color
versus
me
player
intrigued.
kind of game. And so I don't know, guys. I mean, what do you
It
think
had
about
about
that?
like a Dynasty Warriors, Dark Souls, like one-on-one combat. Like you could take down the other enemy soldiers real easily, but then once you get to the actual other player, it had like you had to like sum up what was going on and be deliberate with your actions, or else you would die fast.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to be on this big battlefield, maybe not big, but, ish, and you'll send out your soldiers and stuff, and you can take down the enemy soldiers to help gain some ground. But when you see an enemy general or another player actually playing, I don't know how it's going to work, but it looked great. I don't know if you use combos or like you just have to outwit them.
Sure.
Like that's the feeling I'm getting.
Yeah.
Hopefully that is how it is, and it's not just an illusion they're giving us. That would be incredible.
Then they also went against in different time periods.
Yeah, it was
too,
like
which
there was
really
like a
cool.
knight,
Like,
a Viking, and a samurai guy.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of like the 3 different time periods.
right.
And I wouldn't care. I know that's some people are like, well, what if that's like a big grand scheme of things like around the world? I wouldn't care if it's just like, hey, you're Vikings this round. Hey, if it was just multiplayer. It looks fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Although the guy that came out and presented it, we were reading tweets. Joey Ferris, man, if you're watching this, you are hilarious, sir. Over at Ferris Wheel Productions, because he tweeted, the guy presenting this looks like he could be in it. And that was hilarious.
Walked out on the cane.
Oh, man. But after that, they showed off another expansion, this time for the Crew, their racing game called Wild Run. So if you're playing the Crew, that'll be coming out soon. I don't think any of us have actually played the Crew at all.
It looks interesting, but
Like you could ride
Not a
across
racer
the whole
fan.
U.S. or something.
And
Yeah.
they also showed off a expansion for Trials Fusion. This one was called Awesome Levels Max, and it was
Funny
pretty much a
trailer.
cat
Yeah, that was
riding a
funny.
unicorn. It was very bizarre.
Spewing flames and rainbows with
And
flames.
That comes out July 14th. That's only a few weeks away. So they showed that off. Then they kind of went into more of Tom Clancy's The Division. They played a stage called the Dark Zone. And they showed off. It was a gameplay demo of sort of player versus player. So what do you guys think of the gameplay demo?
It was good. It was good. I mean, it didn't reveal anything really new, but
Yeah.
I liked the mechanic that you have your team, and then other people just come in when
Yeah.
you're and can
With their
help you,
team. Yeah.
and then you can actually, when they're not looking, like take them out and take their supplies, and then
Yeah.
at the end of the trailer, I mean, one of the guys turned on everybody and took everyone's supplies for themselves. I was like,
Yeah. I wonder how that's going to turn out. Like,
yeah.
it's very ambitious
Uh-huh.
in what they're doing with, I don't know how many people are going to be in your world and stuff like that and in your faction, and that's very cool. But then they were all like turning on each other. So like, what is this going to turn into? Your friends keep turning on each other. Okay,
Right,
guys,
yeah.
we should go out for a mission, and they keep shooting each other.
Hopefully you
Like,
stick with your friends, and then some other guys, you know.
yeah,
Well, the same thing with GTA 5 though, because the multiplayer on that, when you go on like the heist missions, you
Yeah.
can all like turn on each other, and one guy can steal all the loot. I mean, that's totally possible.
It's like the beginning of Batman, The Dark Knight, when the Joker, like all the guys are killing themselves because
Yeah,
they want the loot. Then the
right.
Joker's one at the end.
Right.
yeah.
And takes everything.
That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
I will say this looks cool for those who will get into it, but I feel like
Post-apocalyptic.
I feel like I'm not one who's going to be able to invest enough time into it to actually get good, because it feels like you're going to have to know the world, have a faction set up, or in some capacity
Be invested big
be
time.
invested. That's not one I'll have time to invest in. So
Sure.
I think because I saw so much, I'm writing it off and I'm not going to get
Sure.
it. It's weird, but I
Yeah.
know.
I mean, and like I said, it looks interesting as long as you have a group of guys to play it with. And they actually said they're doing a beta. It's going to be on Xbox One, PS4, and PC early next year. So to check that out. So you know that's coming out soon. They also shoot off a game called Anno.
It's
was kinda like-
2205 or
Yeah,
something.
Anno 2205.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a city builder.
That's a terrible name, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a city builder game, kind of like a Sim City or Tropico or any of those kind of games.
Yeah.
And you're trying to it's kind of like a race to space, and you can go up to the moon and start colonizing there faster. So I mean, I'm not a huge
SimCity person.
I used to be. I used to love those games like Roller Coaster Tycoon and SimCity and Tropico, and like I love those games. But I kind of got out of the PC gaming thing for a while, and so I haven't played games like that in a while.
Roller Coaster Tycoon's only fun because you can make roller coasters.
Well,
that
it's
are
still
fast.
about
manage
it's still
people
about
out.
managing and taking care of your people and building your park. And,
Yeah.
But after that, they actually talked about Just Dance 2016.
Oh yeah.
Make sure to follow our Twitter
Oh, no.
at Life of Gaming Pod, because Brant
Just
was
Brant?
the Brant Dance 2015.
Yeah.
So
Tweet
make
it
sure-
out, folks.
Check that out. Retweet that. But that's
Be
actually coming in October of this year. And what they're doing, they're actually doing a brand new like live streaming dance thing that's only going to be on next gen systems. I think
Yeah.
it said Wii U, Xbox One, and PS4. So that's something new they're throwing out there. After that, they showed off a new trailer for Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
And they did all new gameplay footage of player versus player.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think they called what? Tarot Hunt?
Tarot
That's what they
Hunt.
called it?
I don't know if
And
that
so-
was that
Another
player versus
terrible
player. I
name.
thought they were just like breaking into a building and doing a
Sure.
mission.
Tarot card hunt.
But, they showed that off. So I'm not really sure because I was kind of confused by that. Because they said Tarot Hunt, and they said player versus player. And they said, we're going to have both modes. I'm like, well, which one are they showing us? So, I mean, it might have been player versus player, but it's the same kind of gameplay we saw last year. You're on a team of 5, you're on a squad trying to break in and, free the hostages, which looks like a lot. I mean, when you see those games, you're like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be played. But we were talking during the show, and we're like, if you play with your friends, or if you're playing with strangers especially,
I can break this wall.
exactly, if people are
And
really
that's
going to
what I
work as a
feel like.
team, that's going to be the problem
I feel
with
like
that
that's the destructible environments is going to be the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And like
It's the
me and my friends are
exception
just
rather
gonna,
than the rule.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my friends and I are just gonna like get in a team, and be like, shoot through the walls, and like, through a building. Like,
Yep.
Right. So, I mean, it seems
You
like
need to have a tight-knit group.
exactly.
yeah,
If it's just playing with random people, it's not going to...
And-
Right.
yeah.
It might work. I don't know.
You never
There
know.
might be
there's always that one idiot online. I mean, normally it's
Yeah.
Brant, but if Brant's not there,
Leroy
Yep.
Jenkins.
but that game's getting to beta September 24th. So that's coming to all. That's coming to all.
That's
systems.
cool. I mean, yeah, beta and everything.
The other new game they showed off, Trackmania Turbo. It was kind of like an F1 racing, but it was kind of like an
Yay.
arcade racer. It was like super fast. Like it was like a first
Like
person
Hot
super
Wheels
fast
sort of thing.
and like the tracks were totally crazy. They said there's over 200 tracks. Plus there is a track builder. You
Yeah.
can actually have it automatically build you new tracks, or you can build tracks yourself.
I loved how the guy in the demo, he's like, hit the stop.
Yeah, he jumped and he like hit the side
and,
and
then,
crashed right.
and then he tried to play it off like a feature like starts or instant or restarts or
Yeah.
instant.
But I mean, that looked like, I mean, it could be fun, but I mean, none of the tracks were that long.
Yeah.
It looks super fast though. So I mean, that's kind of cool, but I don't know. I don't think it was for me though.
Nah.
It didn't even look like he was racing anybody in that.
No, I
was
think
he?
it's just time trial stuff. I'm
See,
pretty
that's-
sure. I think it's just time.
But
trials.
they showed demos where people were like, there was multiple cars,
Yeah,
so
so maybe-
they probably have races too. But
Yeah.
Maybe that was just a time trial.
After that, they got into Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I mean, that game looks so pretty. I mean, that
Oh,
game
yeah.
looks absolutely gorgeous. This time it's set in London.
we always get
1868.
hyped for Assassin's
We
Creed.
always get hyped for Assassin's Creed. This was during the Industrial Revolution.
I was gonna say this looked incredible. I can't wait to play it 2 years from now when it's down to $20.
yeah.
For me, I'm
Good
always
point.
like on the hype train for Assassin's Creed. It comes out, and then I just get overwhelmed by it, or I just get bored by it. Although I'm playing through Unity right now, like I mentioned on the podcast. I'm enjoying it right now. I haven't hit that wall yet. I'm a little over halfway through, so we'll see. But this one, you play as two different protagonists. You play as Jacob and his sister Edie Fry, so you can switch between the two. But I mean, it looks pretty cool.
I just caught that Jacob, and I don't know why,
Jacob
but
and
that
Marley.
that whole setting, the first thing
Yeah.
that popped into my head is like Jacob Marley. Yeah, so I was like, is that his name? Jacob Marley.
Yeah.
But so I mean, it looks really cool. But
The protagonist before when he had his top hat on
Yeah.
and stuff, he looked like Hugh Jackman.
From
Like,
Wolverine,
for
yeah.
real. And then he
Right.
put on his hood and he had the whole like
See,
facial hair.
he would
looked
be
like
alive during
Hugh
that
Jackman.
time period.
That's true.
That's-
I'm playing as the Wolverine. Hashtag
That
Wolverine. in
explains
Assassin's
why
Creed.
when you're in those games you get stabbed a million times, you just never die.
It's Wolverine. There we go.
There
guys.
you go.
Mystery solved.
Yes.
And the last game they showed off what we couldn't really tell what it was. Is this Just Cause? It's like, what is
Yeah, it was
this?
Yeah,
That's
during
Square
the
Enix.
trailer, yeah.
But it was
Wait.
a brand new trailer for Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Wildlands.
So it was another one of those team-based, squad shooters. Trying to take out the terrorists. I mean, it looked interesting, but when that came out, we all were like, it's
Sort of
another one of
burnout,
these.
yeah.
Because I mean, they just showed us Rainbow Six Siege. They just showed us what was the other? I'm trying to think of
Division.
The Division.
Division.
And they're all kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, I know people online will say like it's not the same. What we mean in the same is that
We mean it's the
team-based-
same.
That's right. That's what it is.
but like team based, you see some people and do whatever, attack them or like organize your group. It's going to be the same functionality between all three games essentially. And I know it's a new Ghost Recon, they said, for the first time in a while. And I did actually enjoy Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter back in the day, but the third one I was like, I'm done.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
there's too many.
So we'll see. I mean, that's what they ended their conference on. I mean, it graphically
looked
it
cool.
looked good. I
Yeah.
mean, it looked fun. But once again, there's
Serious.
just so many of those games out. I mean, I like Matt. I think I'm just burned out on those. So
Yeah.
we'll
Right.
see. I mean, you guys are excited for that. That's awesome.
We haven't even played them and we're burnt out on
exactly.
them. It's sad.
That is funny. But I mean, that was the end of Ubisoft, and Ubisoft was much better than EA. There was no
was
slow
overall, yeah.
slow parts in it.
Minus just Dance and that one guy coming out.
That's true.
Whatever his name.
That's
Jason Derulo.
But the only thing, yeah, I forgot about him saying.
What
I
you
totally forgot
say?
about that.
Yeah, you were helping your wife with.
That was
something.
right.
Luckily.
So I didn't put through that painful experience. But the main wow moment for that in that whole conference for me was probably South Park, because it was the one thing
Yeah.
that was
That
totally
was so
unexpected.
surprising.
That was the main wow moment because
Yeah.
we know what it is. The biggest shocker for me of something I don't know that I have huge interest in
Yeah.
is For Honor.
yeah,
Like their best stuff was their first two games
Yeah.
by far. Like
I agree with you there.
Well, I guess Brant, we'll start with you, man. How would you grade Ubisoft?
I'm thinking a B minus
Okay.
in there. Like all the games you saw were pretty like the squad based shooters.
Mm-hmm.
They spent too much time on that. They didn't have that like the South Park, that was a huge one,
Yeah.
and then For Honor, I'm interested in that. So I mean, it was just a well balanced conference, really.
Yeah.
And that one woman that announces it wasn't really annoying, which
Anish,
Yeah, usually she is,
was
but
it-
Oh my
this year she was
gosh, I
fine.
can't
Had it?
stand her.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, she did
But,
it was
yeah.
a lot better in that regard.
She wasn't trying to crack too many jokes.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, man? How would you rate this?
Around a B. I mean,
Yeah.
there's games that actually I'm really excited for. South Park blew
That
my
made your
mind.
day,
That
yeah.
made my day. Like
Yeah, yeah.
beyond anything
You
the
were
Microsoft
grinning from ear
conference.
to ear, man.
That name.
Yeah, I know for
Oh
you
my
guys it's
gosh.
Fallout 4. Like the feeling you had for Fallout 4, I actually had for South
Sure.
Park.
Yeah.
And
But you
so,
weren't even expecting it. Like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
were expecting
Yeah, we-
Fallout.
exactly.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
like I had that. Obviously, we didn't see
You
any
got a Christmas
gameplay,
present early this year.
but that moment for Honor was great. There were some games that look fine when I was interested in, like the city building one.
Mm-hmm.
Solid B. I mean,
Sure.
They put a big emphasis on co-op gaming.
Yeah,
is
they
what I
did.
could
they
tell.
have been doing
Yeah.
that for a
Oh,
while
man.
though.
Yeah.
And I agree. For me, I think it was like a B- because everything they showed was solid. But like you said, it's mostly co-op games that just don't interest me personally. Because I've got a good group of friends I play online. I mean, I had a good group that I play online with Titanfall, and they're all playing Destiny right now. Which I didn't get around to getting that, and now they're so far ahead of me that there's no point in
Yeah.
jumping in.
Yeah.
But if the whole group is picking something up, maybe I might check it out and play with them. But
I mean, though,
we'll
if,
see.
like the what's weird about that with us is, the one of the best co-op games, we can't even get enough time for all of us to get together and play,
Sure.
and that's Borderlands. When that
Yeah.
came out, like
Yeah.
that's one of our favorite co-op games, and we can't even ever find time to get together to
the
play.
problem
So
is none
like
of our schedules will line up. Yeah,
so-
well, now that you're summertime, though, it might be a little bit easier.
in summertime,
we
I'm
really gotta get
great,
through
but
for the
during
sequel.
school year, it's always like
Yeah, it's
I
like
have a
that's
lot
my
of work to do
sequel
because
on.
I love my job and stuff.
Well, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this about EA and Ubisoft. Make sure to stick around because we're going to be covering Sony and
last
PlayStation and
Woo,
maybe
man.
Vita. Who knows what they're going to show? So make sure to stick around,
Not much
guys.
for Vita.
We'll be back.